But I think in my experience that dreams are also inceptions in our reality. Is
Mhm.
part of the matrix also. So dreams are not the thing that we used to believe. Is part of the holographic realm in another frequency of experience. Could be the fourth dimension, I don't know. But my experience is where if you don't have control of your dreams, that's the importance to have control of your dreams in the Toltek tradition. That's part of the training that we receive, but not because we are giving so much importance to the world of the dreams, because it's another illusion. And if you
Yeah.
don't have control of your dreams, the artificial intelligence is going to insert inceptions, ideas inside of your commands in order to project also this holographic realm. So that's important that you have to practice to take control of your dreams every night. And the first task is to decree that you going to see your hands in your dreams. That's the first movement that you have to learn, to focus in one thing. And when you control that, you can pass to put your attention in other things around you or in other situations, and then it's going to be easier to control the whole spectrum of the dream. In this movie, it's very clear the message that they are telling us that by our dreams, the artificial intelligence can insert ideas of
Yes.
everything. That's the first meaning, to insert ideas and concepts of control remotely. In our daytime, also they are enforcing this concept of control by impulses of light. So the control in this planet is very high parasitized. That's the
Yeah.
thing that we have to realize and comprehend, that importance of control all the spectrum of the reality that we are living in this video game called Matrix.
Mhm. Wow. Well said, man. Do you remember your dreaming as a young boy before the interference? Did you go through a period where you could control your dreams and then things started to get tricky and you had to later on in life learn how to do it again? And can you share your story as a child?
Sometimes yes, sometimes yes. When I was child, I had lucid dreams sometimes,
Yeah.
and I had astral projections once. I can remember that I can fly over my house, and wow, I am dreaming or what? No, but I didn't understand what I was doing or what's the meaning of this. No, because I was child, and also my family and also my environment never mentioned this about this. This is like a, oh, this is not true. This is like a, all people in this matrix living in this, they can see beyond the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, of course, I never try again. And then when I started to initiate my Toltec path, I could understand more this and start to practice more deeply this control of the dreams.
And did it take you a long time to learn to find your hands? And are you able to continue finding your hands?
At the beginning, it's kind of hard for me because I started with my writing my dreams. As soon as I
Yeah.
wake up, I start to make a diary
Mm-hmm.
and remembering my dreams and start to write in them
Mm.
and make a recapitulation of that. And that's for me the beginning of this journey. And after that, I start to practice and focus and decree to myself, to my Nawal, okay, we have to see our hands and remember our dreams, and
Mm-hmm.
repeating. And suddenly, taking a nap in a hammock, I remember very clear, I could start to see my hands. And the first time was like, oh, I be very stressed or very happy at the moment, and also my emotion was very high that I couldn't keep it too much because that was my first impression, and I said, oh, and I woke up very soon, and after that say, okay, it's possible. That's shown me that it's possible, and then I start to practice more and more, and until you start to go deeper in this practice, and then yeah, it's very easy, and then I pass for to focus on more things that appears in my dream, and okay, now I'm to focus in that couch or in that mountain or whatever, no? And then start to control it, and sooner or later you or the practice make the master. It's just practice and decree yourself that you can control it.
Awesome, man. Yes. Yes. So such a powerful possibilities that come when we learn to be silent and observe ourselves falling asleep and stay in that in between place. And for shamans, some say that they don't fully go to sleep, that they're alert. You know, it's just consciousness throughout the night, but they're allowing their body to fully rest. Do you, you mentioned recapitulating your dreams, do you also recapitulate the memories of your life?
Yes, that's very important also.
And
Recapitulation is another technique that is going to help you to fix your entire life, because all the times are interacting here now. Our past, you can travel to the past just remembering with the power of your thoughts, and then we can change future or create our future from present, and it's like a loop. So the three times are interacted here and now. So recapitulation is that technique that is going to allow you go back to the past and fix the things that you need to change in order to cover energy, because we are losing fine energy through those traumatic experiences that we, all of us, used to have. So at the moment that you start to recapitulate that moment, to remember that moment, and put the intention to recover energy and also give back energy, because sometimes you also are stealing energy from people in some kind of situations. So that's very important, because you start to remember all your life. Is the same thing, because here also is another dream. We are in layers of dreams. Have you seen this movie, 13th floor, 4th floor? This movie is before Matrix, I think 1 or 2 years before. It's exactly the same concept of the Matrix. They are telling us that we are living in this simulation, but in different layers. Yep. Like Inception movie, you can go deeper in different simulations, in different layers of the dream, and everything is a dream. So basically, when you practice recapitulation, you can go to that moment and fix that problem. And it's the same practice when I wake up from my dreams, I start to write them. It's the same thing, but now here in the awakened moment. It's the same principle. So recapitulation is also take you to that level of consciousness, of be aware of your entire life, and also fix some problems of extraction energy system that we are interacted with, and we are losing energy and we are stealing energy. So that's the point of recapitulation. And also when you start to gain more energy, you can use that energy in order to boost the energy in your dreams and connect both realities. That's the point of these techniques.
Yeah, recapitulation has changed my life. You know, any time that I want, I go into my breath work, and it leads me to the most incredible access to retrieving energy that I left behind. And like you said, I just intuitively give back any energy that I took on from somebody else that isn't mine. and it's like purification. It's the most powerful form of purification I think that exists, and that's why the Toltecs they don't even talk about other types of purification. Really, that's the main one. They do the magical passes, the recapitulation, and then the gates of dreaming as a means to set themselves on a path of freedom, because this is a realm of entrapment. And in order to have the energy, in order to see how things really work and operate, we have to have the courage to reclaim our power. In a world of power, we have to come to terms with the fact that we have the opportunity to make a bid for power, to step into our power and remember what we are. And so, silence is something most people don't know about. They think meditation, you just kind of turn off your thoughts a little bit. But if you could elaborate on what happens when you spend time in silence, just being present on the earth without thinking, for me, it shifts my perception a great deal. I start to go into dreaming while I'm awake.
Yes, for sure. This is a very important tool to experience. I told you before, it's not the only thing, because also we are living in a physical realm and we have to respect those rules. And it's part of the Toltek practice, but it's like a satellite. The main thing is detox your body again, because also if you have your body very clean, your mind is going to be clear, and you can connect both energies more easier. The other perspective, when you are dirty and you are carried with heavy metals and toxins around your body, that they can let you be beyond your reality. These practices are made in order to achieve your self-transformation, the holistic perspective of your life. Not just practice this or that. You can practice all together. I think for me, is to get better results. It's the way that we are going to accomplish our self-transformation in this flourish world.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's, I think in the future, as more and more people learn about these types of art, this type of dreaming, the what Carlos Castaneda called the human mass. If you get more and more people doing the same magical passes at the same time, or recapitulating at the same time, there's an incredible potential of energy for us to utilize. I believe that it's just a matter of time before we discover this. And obviously there's a lot of conflict or contraction. A lot of people are afraid, and it's going to take some adjustment for people to come out of fear and really pursue these beautiful pathways that have been presented to us as a means to liberate our perception. And then as in larger groups, we'll be able to, I think, have a really profound and beautiful experiences that separate us or give us space away from the control matrix.
Found in my experience and discovered a powerful tool to make like a companion energy along with these lucid dreams and these kind of techniques. For me, when you fast, it's going to boost the experience. When I'm fasting, I can have lucid dreams like this, more than what we are eating.
Yep.
Because you are more lighter. So when you're fast, you just increase your perception because you're lighter. The energy is full, completing the experiencing, and the fine energy, you are creating fine energy because you are in this state of, I don't know how to express it, in the state of contemplation. And also your body is not receiving extra information from outside in form of food. You are not hacking your system with density that we call food. And also, if you don't have sex, it's more important, because when you are fornicating, also you are wasting your fine energy. So that's the two main things that I have discovered. When you keep your
celibacy, yes,
and also your fasting, it's easier to accomplish these states of consciousness. And another powerful tool that we use in the Toltek tradition is the Obsidian mirror technique.
Yes.
After we make the recapitulation, now we pass to the Obsidian mirror therapy. We take our Obsidian mirror and start to send to the shadow all the things that we don't need, that we just remembered from this exercise, the previous exercise that we just did. Now we're going to complete the experience in the mirror, because the mirror is going to absorb. It's like a vacuum machine. It's like a black hole. It's going to absorb that information that you want to get rid of. And then using techniques with your eyes, like crossing your eyes or something like that, is how to eliminate our reflection, putting an intention, the things that you want to eliminate from your life. And it's very powerful also tool that is going to help you to release all the tension and also the patterns and paradigms, dogmas, and all the things that experiences that we received from when we were kids and traumatized our life. It's very important also to complete experience with the Obsidian mirror.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. And I use a regular mirror, like with the lights out, and I will project my being into the perception of reflection of the outdoors, or I'll wait until there's no face at all. It just becomes like a swirling black. But I haven't worked with the Obsidian, so I imagine that adds a whole nother potential to the darkness of it. But as a gazer, when you allow your eyes to cross and you're observing either your own eyes in the mirror, and you start scrying through all the ancestral energies, you start seeing all these different faces. And I forget that I'm looking at myself. And then all of a sudden I see my eyes again, and it's like, I know that person. And then it jolts me. It meant like, oh, but I can't remember who it is, but I know this person really well. And then I realize, oh, it's me. But that time where I don't realize it's me, it's like the most incredible experience, because I'm disassociated from the limitations of the perception that I was in. And so the more I play with gazing, also with sunlight on the water, if you allow the sunlight, if you track all the light and its movement upon the water, it will put you in a trance. And eventually that trance will move your perception into like a tunnel. And you start getting pulled into this tunnel, and it's like all these lights are inside this tunnel. And you just start to do dreaming. And I think shamans can even enter into dreaming gates this way. We are capable of opening doors of perception through the art of gazing. And I think mirrors are the most kind of dangerous but most powerful method for gazing. But there are many, many types of gazing, whether it's gazing at the clouds, gazing at water, gazing at leaves, gazing at the forest, having connection to the Earth Mother and knowing that she's sentient, experiencing the consciousness of trees, and then interacting with that, with the gazing, I believe is what really is how we unbind from this vision, and we start to traverse into other layers. And it's very playful. It doesn't have to be, I think, it doesn't have to be heavy or a task that you're trying to achieve, because I think we have to keep it pretty light so that we don't take ourselves so seriously. But that's what I appreciate about your energy, is that you're very positive, very wholesome, very clean. You take care of yourself, and that shows. And the electromagnetism has made these things accessible for you, and you're really living that life. And just really appreciate that you're doing that. I don't know if you played with sun gazing at all. If you could talk about what you do with the sun. Do you use the sun for anything like that?
No, but I think it's very important to realize that we have to start to observe again everything and change the perception of the reality. When we start to observe more focus in something, it's the same technique when you are dreaming. But here, when you're awake, and you start to change your gazing and you start to cross your eyes. That's why the Mayan culture used to wear here in the middle of the nose some kind of, I think it was made of Turkish or jade, I don't remember, but they put something here because they want to cross their eyes all the time. When you learn to provoke the crossed eye vision, you're going to start to see things in different perspectives. And this is very important, and this is, you're going to start to change your feeling point of the reality. You dial, you start to move it in another frequencies, and it's amazing the things you start to appear and perceive beyond the evidence. That's another very important task that we have to start to open our perception using these techniques. And the mirror techniques is also very important because it's going to help you to boost and unblock the astral and the etherical vision that we have, but unfortunately is blocked because we are high intoxicated. So it's very clear now, most of the population of the planet are losing their sight. Most of the people are wearing glasses because they can't see anymore. So that's the problem. No, we can see with our eyes, so it's impossible to see beyond because you need something to see clearer in the regular life.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. It's very, people say you can see with the third eye, but when you learn to use the eyes to unlock with gazing, and I do the same thing with my big nose, could cross and see the light shining off one side, and it's like an entire world. So when you learn to use what's available just to your being and just what's outside of you, it's all there. We don't need any props. We don't need anything, but we do have to take care of ourselves so that we can use our eyes, so that we can use our ears and our senses. Our senses want to become very activated so that we can discover what's beyond the five senses. I think most people are trapped in what we were told by the scientists about how we are, and that's all we are. And that's, to me, like a curse that's kept us from, pursuing all that's available to us. And so our intuition is cut off, right? Because we allow somebody who came up with something that tells us what we are, and it's disenabled us from having our imagination and our creativity. And when you have those things, it leads you back to the truth. It leads you back to what you really are. And so, intuition, is really, rather than have a teacher or have, like in the Castaneda books, he was relying on his teacher. But we're in a time now where I think it's so important that we be able to teach ourselves by becoming observers, that we're not handing our power over to somebody to tell us what to do. And so we're in like maybe a new time, and that intuition plays even a more important role than ever, because we don't want to be copycats of other people. We want to discover what is our own path of heart, because we're in different parts of the world and we have different tasks, different opportunities. And so if you could talk about intuition and how you work with your intuition.
Yeah, I'm fine with my intuition though. Actually, I follow all the time my intuition, our intuition comes from our heart. That's why the Toltek teachings are focusing in this topic, is you have to be in your heart. If you want to become a Toltek, you have to get out of mind, shut down your mind, and because mind is duality, and return to unity, to your heart. You are going to become a Toltek if you experience by yourself and take everything from your heart. And the intuition is yourself, is your NAWALI, is your quantic double, because we are multidimensional beings. Actually, the character that is in your dreams is yourself unfold. That's what we call NAWALI. The NAWALI is your quantic double. When you unfold in different dimensions, you are using NAWALI. And NAWALI is the totality because we come from the source. But now we are here in 3D with this tonality light, with this avatar, holographic avatar. But we are not this holographic avatar. So the intuition is yourself, it's talking your soul, yourself, your NAWALI, because your NAWALI is living in advance. Your NAWALI just live the things that you're going to live. So that's why it's going to give you an advice, or it's going to tell you how to do this or do that, because it's yourself, and you already lived that experience. So it's not going to deceive you because it's yourself. The problem that we are not listening because we have too much noise outside and also too much noise inside of us. And also the noise that I'm talking about is not just the sound. The noise also we can translate this metaphor in toxins, parasites. They are speaking through your mind and they are telling you that they want that you do for them. They are asking you all the time, yes, go and eat this and drink that and smoke cigarettes and have sex with that and with other person and this, that, and with that guy, and it's not your own being. It's another inception. It's the robotic body that it is talking through your mind. Is controlling your mind, your thoughts. That's why most of the kids that were involved in these shooting assassinations in the United States, in the schools, they have declared that have listened some voices. That those voices told them to go and assassinate those kids in that school. So this is no science fiction. It's because we have been controlled by the parasitic realm. So that's why we have to follow our intuition. The problem that we are ignoring the intuition because the system have told us that is spiritual bullshit. It's not true. You follow the materialism rules, the material rules that is leading to the materialism. So now we are following the scientism paradigm that science is the thing that you have to follow, and only the thing that this scientist is expressing, and there's a bunch of theories that we are giving our faith to them. But the problem is that we're stopping to following our real essence that comes from our NAWALI. Mm-hmm. So actually, NAWALI means the one that flowing through the fluids. And our language, our mother language from this continent, is called Nahuatl. Nahuatl is the second most spoken language in Mexico after Spanish, and it's used to be the language that communicate all the cultures around the Anahuac Confederation from Alaska to Costa Rica. All the cultures used to speak their own languages, but to communicate each other, they need to speak Nahuatl. Because Nahuatl is very important. It's the Nahuatl of the Toltecs. Actually, we call Nahuatlatoli. Nahuatl. Two kinds of Nahuatl. Nahuatlatoli, that is the language from the Nahuatl, the Nahualis. The Nahualis are the Toltec Nahualis, is the real name of the Toltecs, the Toltec Nahualis. The Nahualis are the people that have control of their own energy. They can control their own energy, and they take everything from the heart, the intuition, that are connected with the Nahual. That's why they call the Nahualis Toltecs. And they have another kind of language or codes, very similar than the Nahuatl language, but in another codes. And we have the Nahuatlatoli, the people that speak Nahuatl like Spanish, like English. But Nahuatl, the language, means fluid, and Nahuali is the one who flows through the fluids. Because Nahuatl, also we can find two words in Nahuatl that forms this word is formed by two words. Nahui is for, At is water. So we are telling that they are telling us that Nahuatl means for water, because water is the main fluid in order to project and also manifest everything, because it's the best conductor of energy. And Nawi is because we can find word in Nawali, because Nawali comes from Nawi four, and four is the foundations for. And the foundations of life is water. Actually, in Spanish we have the same concept. Cuatro is four. Cuatro comes from cua, aqua, water in Latin, aqua. So water is the fountain of everything, but not just the physical waters, the etherical waters, because ether is the mean that connects everything. Everything, the main element, the first element is ether, and after the physical element, water. So this is a very important message that our ancestors are saying, that you have to connect everything by the water, and also water, it has to be transparent, it has to be fluent, clean, like you have to, and also have the right frequency, and rushing water, because if you have stopped water, it's not going to produce any kind of conductivity. So the 4 is very important because it's the first exponential number. When you multiply 2 per 2, you're going to get 4. So it's the first exponential number, because we are also, when you're dreaming, you are going to unfold like the numbers 2 per 2, 4. You're going to double yourself. You're going to unfold. So this is very important to realize that that's why we have to learn these ancient languages, because the modern languages are distorted, especially English, Spanish, French, the most famous, because we know that we are cursing with our languages, modern languages. We are spelling, creating spells because it's distorted. But the ancient languages, like Runasimi is the language from the Incan culture from Peru, that now in the modern times they call it like Quechua, but it's not Quechua, it's Runasimi. And then we have here in the North American tradition, Nahuatl, and Sanskrit in India. Paleo-Hebrew is not the modern Hebrew, very important to know this, Paleo-Hebrew. And also we have, I think, Aramaic language. There are 5 languages that they have the original codes, and they are more harmonious than these modern languages. So that's why it's very important to remember and relearn our languages, especially Nahuatl, because that the Nahuatl languages is the language that the Toltecs developed, because it's not the first one. It's not the unique. Also, we have Mayan, Cherokee, Lakota, whatever, and all of them are very special and and they have another frequency, a more harmonious frequency than the modern languages that we are speaking now. But Nahuatl was designed and developed for the Toltec, the NAWALI Toltecs, because they encrusted some kind of codes to express something, because in Nahuatl language, with few, we say a lot. That's the main thing of the Toltecayo philosophy, is to save energy. So we are wasting a lot of energy speaking. That's why they have created this language, because with one word, you can say and express a whole idea. And in order to save your energy, I found this concept in another language that I just told you, that they have created this concept of glutinate, words, because you are going to break different words and with some particles create one. Sanskrit has the same concept, Runasimi has the same concept. I'm going to put you an example. The word Mexico, it's not Mexico, it's Mexico, the real pronunciation, is formed by 3 particles. The first particle in this word comes from met, Me means maguey. Maguey is a plant. It's like aloe vera. It's agave. You know, agave is plant that's
Yeah.
made in Nahuatl we call. The other particle, the middle particle, it comes from shikli. Shikli means navel, belly button. Iko is referring to a place. So the meaning of Mexico is the place in the middle of the maguey, of the aloe vera, of the agave. And the agave is a metaphor of the torus field, because our ancestors, they knew that we are living flat plane of inertia inside of the torus field. So it's a metaphor. They're not talking about locally. Mexico is not a name from just from this part of the world. They're talking about the entire plane that we are living. So that's an example that how Nahuatl is working. So we are, with few words, we are going to express a whole concept in order to save energy. So that's the purpose of the Toltek, save and create energy, find energy. That's why our ancestors created the magic passes, control of your dreams, the recapitulation, and all kind of things that we just told about. And also they created this amazing technique that they call Chipawa. And Chipawa means purification and transparency. Because we have to pull out our mirror. Talking about mirrors, we are mirrors because we are made of water with crystals, with minerals that we are reflecting reality outside, projecting. The problem that our mirrors are blocked and veiled by the fumes of the matrix, and those fumes or smoke, we can translate them into this concept of paradigms, beliefs, ideas, customs, patterns, and especially in the physical realm, we can translate these smokes into parasites, fungus, and physical toxins, mucus, that are blocking our energy and our perception. We can see clearer outside because our eyes are turning into carbon. The system are carbonized our glands, our senses, because we are very high intoxicated. And also we can see clearer because the mind is projecting all the paradigms, the patterns, and that concept our ancestors called Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca means smoke mirror, because our mirror has smokes, has veils. So the purpose of this life is to get rid of those veils and also those smokes in order to see clearer and project a true reflection of ourselves. And the problem that in humans is that we can reflect ourselves as one because of this. So I can see you like my other, because I have these blockings, because actually we are the same. We are fractals from the same source. That's why our ancestors said, you and I. But now we can see that because of these blockings, and now we are living that we are separate beings, and we are living in the individual, ego, mental perspective, and we are in this, our ancestors called mitot, mitotilistli, mitote, that means like a dance, like a party, and nobody can understand each other, and everybody's dancing by their own rhythm, and this is a totally mess. Because we can see the reflection of ourselves, our true selves, of our Nawal. We can see only the reflection of the larvatic body, of the parasite body, the zombies, and also we can perceive the things that just told about, to change the feeding point of the reality, the dial of the frequencies, so we can see beyond, and also we can connect with our dreams and put them together, the two realities, and start to manifest our multidimensional vision, because our Nawal is like a part of us, because now our avatar is controlled by the larvatic body, by the fungus, by the parasites. So the problem is that we can follow our intuition, following the same concept, because all of this. So that's very important to realize that I finished with the concept with this, the NAWALI of the concept of NAWALI, that NAWALI is the one can flow to the realities, and NAWA, the language, is the mean when we going to flow fluent. We can see some kind of negative primacy in movies, because in movies they're going to show you the truth all the time. They're going to hide the truth in plain sight. So I don't know if you have seen this movie, Constantine movie. The Constantine movie is the Keanu Reeves is participating in this protagonist. Mm-hmm. It's amazing because they talk about the parasitic realm, and also they can travel through realities, dimensions, and the way to travel through dimensions is by water. So this guy needs to put some kind of tray full of water, or a bucket full of water, and then he has to put his feet inside of this bucket in order to connect with water, and then they travel through other dimensions, through the, because the topic of this movie is they talking about demons and hell, so he can go to the hell through using water, so by the water, by the influence and the frequency of water. So that's another proof that we need to use the correct fluidity, the correct fluid to achieve this kind of travels, of trips, whatever you want to call them. So that's very important to connect and use the means and the correct tools in order to move here more freely in this matrix.
Wow, Roberto, that's powerful, man. You just shared a lot of really dynamic knowledge there, and the smoke and mirrors and the veil piece of it, just and the foreign, what we call the parasite, it's a foreign injection, or they call it something else, but coming to terms with that is very difficult for most people, to realize that there really is a voice within your head that is not natural. And it's very confronting, but I think there comes a point in your reality where it's time to really be honest with yourself and really listen to who's talking. What voice is this? Is this my true voice, or is there another voice that is here? And so if you can unlock that discovery, then the smoke and mirrors piece becomes really understandable, and realize that it doesn't matter if humanity itself breaks free from or unveils it, but if you as an individual and me as an individual, we have the opportunity to do so regardless of what others are doing. And so the work is very personal, but it also, the more people that do this work, the easier it will be for others to do it, because it's like the 100th monkey. When enough people start discovering what we really are, the excitement, the joy, the intensity, but yeah, the foreign installment, right? So something's been installed. That's the AI. That's that energetic predator that keeps evolving as we do. So as you and I become more aware in our dreams, or we break free from certain aspects of this predator or parasite, it evolves and starts becoming more clever. It's like you get like an upgraded version of it, and it starts trying to take over your ego in a new way, because before it was able to just make you go drink and do drugs and keep you in a low vibration. But then when you start getting in a higher vibration, it starts trying to tell you that you're special, or it starts trying to cater to your ego so that you'll start a cult or something, right? And so it's a tricky thing to observe how easy we are to manipulate all the time. And it's very disconcerting to discover that there is a voice that's not natural, that's a program. But the way that you explain it is very well said, and it's not so scary like some people when they read the Castaneda books. And so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being someone that's discovered it on your own and have put your own words to it, because it's a necessary thing to be honest about our situation, our predicament. But thank you so much, Roberto. I think this is a good place to come to a conclusion here, and jump into maybe another session another time with you. But you know, I love what you shared about dreams and our what we can do, and when we discover our hands, and what happens when a person becomes, you know, focused on these things and is willing to continue to try. You know, a lot of people give up on finding their hands because it's too difficult, and then they give up on the recapitulation because it's too difficult, and they stop trying to do all these things. But I just recommend to people, have fun with it. It's okay. You don't have to take it so seriously. Who cares if it doesn't work? Just keep doing it. Just see what might happen, and you'll be surprised, because there's a lot more to what we are than what meets the eye. And our eyes, through gazing and other means, can unlock all kinds of incredible aspects of knowledge and discovery. But I'm going to be looking into the Obsidian mirror more, and definitely I appreciate the suggestion about language, because it's very true that if we can discover the power of these words, like in Japan, in Japanese, Aikido means the way of energy and harmony, and it means so much in just one word. And it's an entire martial art was discovered based on this one concept of Aiki. And that's just Ki being energy, and I being harmony, and Do being the way. And so there's a lot of powerful systems in place from people who channeled, who saw and understood things, and then they were guided to leave a legacy of knowledge. And I'm so thankful for Carlos Castaneda being willing to write these things down in a time where not many people were writing these things. But what you've done and what you're doing with this knowledge is really means a lot to me, because it's something I'm very fascinated in. And so I just heartfelt thank you to you being willing to, you know, navigate around all the distractions and all the seduction of the world of power, of the world of social power, and be willing to go after, you know, the real thing. So thank you, brother.
The purpose of this is that it's very clear the message. We have to clear our mirrors and start to open our perception. So we have the concept in the Toltek tradition that we call Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is the things that we can perceive, is the tonality, and also means evolution. Is the work that you came to do here, your labor, in order to becoming a better version of yourself. That's the real meaning of Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is not God. That's bullshit. Quetzalcoatl is just an archetype that's expressing the matrix. That's why we are representing Quetzalcoatl as a snake, because every snake is representing a sine wave. The sine wave is the representation of this illusion that we are living in, this simulation that we call matrix, tonality matrix. Is the tonality, it's the things that we can perceive, and we have to transform that kind of wave. We have to put different layers of frequencies in order to change the frequency of that wave. If that's the metaphor of the feathers, that's why we call Quetzalcoatl the feather snake, because that snake with feathers, you are going to transform that snake, that sine wave, into something better that now can fly and arise and ascend. And the other concept is Tezcatlipoca. And Tezcatlipoca is the main archetype of the Toltecayo. Actually, I don't know why Carlos Castañeda never mentioned this kind of concepts. That's why Carlos Castañeda is like is incomplete, because this guy never go through these meanings and this real concept of the Toltecayo. But this is something that we, as Toltecs, we have to know, because we are distorting the concepts and we are misinterpreting, because of course the Inquisition and the colonialism, they taught us about our culture. No, that concepts are false gods and blah blah blah, and they were practicing witchcraft and bullshit. But it's just concepts and allegories that are going to help us to understand more the reality that we are living in. So Tezcatlipoca is the smoke mirror, because they are talking about the Tezcatlipoca is the NAWALI, is the totality, is the things that we can't perceive because of these veils. So that's important that eliminate those veils, those fumes, to reflect through your mirror a better reflection of yourself. And how you're going to reflect that in your actions. Your actions are going to define you.
Yes.
So be clear with your words, with your thoughts, with your feelings, and especially with your actions. In order to evolve the Quetzalcoatl energy, to transform yourself in a better version of yourself, leaving behind patterns, dogmas, beliefs, and also detoxifying your physical body, like I did before. And then you combine both, because also Quetzalcoatl is representing tonality, the light, and Tezcatlipoca is representing the NAWALI, the totality. But the tonality is just a small part of the totality. It's just a small fractal. But the NAWALI is the totality, is the source. That we are part of that source, expressed in a frequency, in a fractal. We are not the source itself, but we are part of the soul, of the source.
Wow.
So we are this thread taken from the ocean that contains all the elements of the ocean. And when we combine all the droplets, we are going to form the oceans. So that's very important, this concept to incorporate in our selves, in our heart, and start to act from our hearts, following our intuition, and put an intention in everything that you want to do in your life. And to finish this presentation, this lecture, if you want to control your reality, you need to control the astral realm and the physical realm. The astral realm is the realm of the dreams. So it's very important that you start to control your dreams in order to connect with your NAWALI and start to reflect your multidimensional aspect of your true self. And here, when you start to control your dreams, here is the life is gonna be easier. I have seen a lot of incredible results when you start to control the astral realm. But you don't have to forget the rules of this physical realm. So you have to be in balance.
Yeah.
But realize that you have to perceive, know the holistic spectrum of the reality. So that's important of the Toltecayo and the Toltec principles.